Hey guys, this is The Constant Show where we talk about movies, and I am Constant, your host. So a while back on the channel I did a video that was a meta-narrative on how it would be unbelievable that there were actual zombies in Scooby Doo and Zombie Island. This video is sort of the spiritual successor to that one. So for the purposes of this video, I will be treating Scooby Doo and Witch's Ghost as though it is a dramatization rather than a documentary. I would like the jury to enter their deliberations with a calm and sober mind. We are not here to disprove the existence of witches or ghosts or witches' ghosts. Science has done an amazing job of concluding that there are none, but we will set that aside. I, like you, will set aside my biases towards the existence of the supernatural to consider the question of whether or not there was a real witch's ghost in Oakhaven. We are here to ask, what is more likely? Because none of us can know for certainty what actually happened in Oakhaven, except for the people in Oakhaven. And as I'm about to demonstrate, there's reasons that they might not have been too honest about the goings-on in Oakhaven. The court is not a weapon to be used by t-shirt salesmen to sell CDs about eco-goth bands. It does not exist for the purpose of bolstering Oakhaven. Instead, the court is here to ask what is most likely the truth. I think it's reasonable to doubt the existence of witches or ghosts. I think it's even more reasonable to doubt the existence of an entity that would be both of them. And I assert that the most likely explanation for what happened in Oakhaven is neither witch, nor ghost, nor witch's ghost, but instead, a town full of motivated reasoners. A rock band desperate to validate their image. A writer who couldn't write. A mayor who relied on tourists in order to fund his town. And a group of very, very fallible detectives. So I think we must consider the official narrative in two lights. The first, the events prior to the discovery of an alleged real witch's ghost, and those during and after the discovery of an allegedly real witch's ghost. I'd like to set the stage for you. This is weeks before the events dramatized in the film. Oakhaven is a Salem-like tourist trap that is slower than maple syrup on a cold day, according to the mayor. Their only attraction is the Hex Girls, a band that the mayor would later state isn't a big enough attraction to sustain the town. The Hex Girls. The Hex Girls. On the verge of cutting their first CD, so desperate to be real that they hired a dentist to make fangs, that they live in log cabins that are candlelit, that they perform rituals, that even during rehearsal they still throw smoke bombs, all to give the illusion that they are real witches. They need this town to be supernatural in order to bolster their music career.
I'm gonna cast a spell on you.
We were desperate, the townsfolk would later say when the first witch's ghost was revealed to be fake. They were desperate. They needed it to be true. But there's somebody else who also needed it to be true. And that is writer Ben Ravencroft. Ben Ravencroft, who in his own words was inspired by his ancestors' supernatural nature to write in the first place. Why was he back in Oakhaven? What was his reason for returning, the hometown hero? Because he needed to recharge his batteries. And what was his plan to recharge his batteries? It was simple. He was going to find Sarah Ravencroft's journal, and then that would bolster the supernatural claims of his book, because now it's based on a true story. Ben Ravencroft's witch ancestor. So cool and mysterious. Did anybody here read Ben Ravencroft's last book? I haven't read it. I haven't read a single word that this man has written. I even searched on Amazon reviews for a book by writer Ben Ravencroft. Nothing. Maybe if he found that journal, he could write a bestseller this time. He's really obsessed with that book, according to Daphne Blake. He was so obsessed with the book that he orchestrated a fake mystery in London just to organize a chance meeting with the mystery gang. Whenever they get to town, Ben Ravencroft's paying for everything. According to Jack, it's on Ben. He's willing to pay for Shaggy and Scooby to eat. And this is after knowing who Shaggy and Scooby are. None of what I've just said is disputed. These are all events from the official narrative. This is their side of things, and still, one truth prevails throughout it. That's that they needed this to be true. They were desperate. The livelihoods of this entire town were so reliant on this that they all banded together to fake the first witch's ghost. Now, it is when we run into the first witch's ghost that we start to see some discrepancies in the official narrative, things that just don't seem to add up. For starters, when the mayor tries to tell the backstory of the witch's ghost to Fred and Daphne, why they already know it. They guess it in a synchronized song like a pair of Oompa Loompas. 400 plus mysteries, and that's the first time this is happening. Where was Fred and Daphne's song whenever they were going against the minor 49er? I don't remember that part. Can anyone tell me when they sung when they were going against the muck monster? Just the witch's ghost then. The mayor himself seems all too keen on welcoming in the world's greatest mystery solvers. You would think if you were perpetrating a scam that the livelihoods of your entire town depended on, you might make more of an effort to scare them out. Certainly wouldn't just welcome them in. Come on, Nancy Drew, catch me, I'm pretending to be Bigfoot. Come on, Sherlock Holmes on the Chupacabra, I hope he shows up tonight. Mayor trots it out right in front of him, like a prize turkey. We'll get to the turkey. And now the official narrative gets even more bizarre. Velma Dinkley. She says, I think that the town might be getting too scary for Shaggy and Scooby. Too scary, Velma. Too scary. Are there not 600 plus stories of mysteries in which the gang uses Shaggy and Scooby as bait, expressly as a part of their plans? Are there not 400 different accounts of the gang using food as a method of bribery to seduce them into going into situations that they find scary? Are there not over 1,000 rut-rows as Scooby enters into the fray of a dangerous situation? Velma Dinkley didn't seem to care then, but the witch's ghost, oh, it's so scary. Nobody come to Oakhaven. It's like a Fright Fest commercial. Prior to her summation, Velma Dinkley says the words, there goes my cherry picker theory. And she's right. A cherry picker wouldn't account for the way in which the witch's ghost could fly. It was zooming around on the inside of a barn. But then, just moments later, Velma says, hey, I think I solved it with no new information. What became clear to you, Velma? Where's that missing thread of mystery? And then her grand solution for how this witch's ghost would fly around is a cherry picker with an extension. Something that would not explain the witch's ghost flying around on the inside of the barn. Well, that doesn't make sense. How is that possible that we have a mystery solution that doesn't solve the mystery? I think it's because they knew nobody would be looking too close at that part. It didn't have to be that tight or cohesive because the part that people would be skeptical about is the second witch's ghost. And they're correct, but we'll get there. According to the official narrative, an elderly man attached to a cherry picker at least 10 feet off of the ground swings face first into a tree hard enough to dislodge him from his harness, walks away without a scratch. But we're supposed to believe the official narrative? And I would say that this marks the end of the first set of events in the official narrative. Those which close to reality, but having discrepancies with it that are irreconcilable. And the second set of events is where the official story descends into absolute madness. Ben Ravencroft discovers the journal. He becomes a warlock due to reading spells in the book, one so competent he can perform the spells without the book. Well, what was the point of the book? Why did the witch have it? If you can just look at it, learn it, and then never need to look at it again. Why is there a book? I should point out that no historian has backed the idea that any actual witches were burned at Salem, or Salem-like towns such as Oakhaven. But I would be remiss in not pointing out that even if an actual witch has been burned, this witch is so powerful that one questions how she would be. How are you going to persecute a witch who turns pumpkins sentient and who turns turkeys giant? There's a lot of turkeys during the Pilgrim days. She could have caused a whole Pilgrim turkey stampede, but we're supposed to believe that she was persecuted. That this town, full of regular people with 18th century weaponry, managed to subdue a powerful witch. Apparently, the only method for turning a witch back to the spellbook in which she came is by using a wiccan. Okay. Now, Thorne, lead singer of the Hex Girls, you remember the Hex Girls, the band that does everything to appear supernatural despite not being supernatural? Well, Thorne is 1/16th Wiccan. Velma Dinkley says, well, that's enough! Velma Dinkley, famed skeptic, somebody who didn't believe in witches, ghosts, or witches' ghosts just yesterday. And somehow she's already intimately familiar on the inner workings of their rituals. She hasn't seen the spell book according to the official narrative. Where did she see the fine print that 1/16 qualifies? What is she basing this on? Even if I grant all of the supernatural elements of this bizarre and uncanny story, the basic discrepancies in logic still don't add up. Even if I ignore that the only evidence for these supernatural claims is a giant turkey more likely to test for growth hormones than magic. Even if I overlook the fact that the only other supporting evidence is broken trees, something that the fake witch's ghost had as well, even if I look past that. Even if the fundamental incoherencies in their account of things just doesn't add up. So I'll go ahead and give you my version of events. What I think can be evidenced by everything that happened in their account. I think the truth starts with two people. That's Ben Ravencroft and the mayor. And they get together to hatch a plan. They'll start a fake witch's ghost while they can dig around for the journal. The mayor can start construction projects. They'll turn it up eventually. They already got the first piece of Senator Ravencroft. Heck, they can even speed things up by bringing in the mystery game. There's only one problem. That's that witches don't exist. And Sarah Ravencroft was not a witch. She was a Wiccan. She was a healer. And the problem with that is her cures would not be the solution for the town's problems. Can't sell t-shirts for 18th century medicine woman does 18th century medicine woman things. Has anyone bought a ticket to the History Museum recently? That's still more people than Ben Ravencroft's book, but still. And now that the book's out, well, everything falls through. Ben Ravencroft can't write horror stories about a medicine woman. The Hex Girls can't get their cool vampire cred off of that. Sarah's cures would not solve their affliction. So they hatched another plan. Ben Ravencroft met Velma Dinkley in her bookstore. It's telling that the only two mysteries that Velma deemed unsolvable are those in which she had a crush on a mystery writer. So Ben offered her a deal. He would give the mystery gang 2 mysteries to solve, and they would just leave one unsolved. They needed a bigger attraction. Scooby Gang saying, "I can't solve this," is big enough. Everybody wins. Fred and Daphne get to continue their TV show. Velma gets to appease her crush. Shaggy and Scooby can eat to their heart's content. The town can continue to sell t-shirts. They probably saw this as a victimless crime. But there was a victim here, and that's Lady Justice and the truth by which she measures her scales. Between the two, which is more likely? That a town full of people who had every reason to lie did, or that the fundamental laws of nature just happened to break in a way that benefited all of them? I rest my case. But that's been the movie. Those were my thoughts. I hope you guys had fun. Like, comment, subscribe. And if you like this video, let me know so I can make more videos like this. Or if you don't like this video, also let me know so I don't make more videos like this. Either way, this has been The Constant Show. Bye.